Well, hello there, Minecrafters. Thanks for coming by, and welcome back to the old useless test world. Yes, do you remember this place? It's been a long time, guys. I know. I've just been taking a break from Minecraft, but recently I've been playing it again, playing with commands, and there is a newish command added called the stopsound command. You can issue it to A or P. And basically you can stop any sound being played. So there could be a long sound. Now with songs being played from command blocks, we can actually stop it whenever we want. So we couldn't do that before, which is really cool, which made me want to create an actual spinning record player. So I thought this concept was kind of cool, and I thought I'd like to show you. Anyway, let's start with the visuals of how you can make this. So first things first, guys, this is not actually a block, believe it or not. So if I go in F5 mode, you'll see I'm actually walking through it. There's a skull in the center there to give the player the illusion of a hitbox there. So if I'm walking, it kind of looks like I'm walking over the actual block. Here's the real jukebox. You can see there's quite a bit of a size difference. This is a full block size. This is definitely not a full block size. And that's really important. We can't actually have a jukebox, but we want to have something looking like it. What this one is a custom display block for a minecart. So if I destroy the minecart, there it goes. There's the block's gone. We can summon it again, and there it is again. And the reason that's important is because if a player comes with a music disc, if they come out to a real jukebox and we want to do the spinning animation up top, they can actually see they can play it on any corner or anywhere on that block, and we don't want that. We want them to come up, aim for the top, and actually there it goes. It spins around. So that's achievable by these custom display blocks for minecarts. I'll show you this command. All this will be in the description, so you guys can take a look at that. But we're summoning a minecart rideable. I'm going to skip a bunch of this, but here's the important stuff. This one here. It's called custom display tile right here, and we want to set it to 1. Then we've got display tile. We're going to set that to whatever block we want it to look like. So in this case, it's going to be a jukebox. In your own projects, you can set this to whatever you want. It could be stone, wool. Almost all the blocks, not all of them, but almost all the blocks will actually display over the minecart. And then the display offset, I believe, is pixels, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure you'll correct me. 43, basically the higher the number, the higher this block will be visible. You can also work with negatives and have it below there. Below the minecart. So that leaves the spinning animation here, and the way that works, you probably guessed it, is an ArmorStand. I just go to the command block here. I'm going to make it visible so you can see what's going on. I'm going to resummon it, and here we go. We've got, there we go. It's going to grab that. It's going to spin it around. That's basically what's happening. I'll go over that command. And we've got an ArmorStand set at a specific height. All this stuff we can skip, but here's one important thing here. The pose, we've got the right arm up over its head, so it's going to be spin almost center. I couldn't get it 100% center. That's why that disc looks a little wobbly. And the display slots here is very specific. It's set to only accept items in the hand of the ArmorStand. That's very, very important. We don't want a player to be able to give it like spinning armor. I also have it set up so that it can only accept music disc, which is really important, and then you can take it away. So that's the visual aspect of it, but let's move on to how it works with the sound aspect of it. So here's the rest of the system here. It looks more complicated than what it is. It's got a lot of command blocks, but basically it's the same thing over and over and over again because we have, I think, 12 different songs to choose from. So we have to account for that. But it's repeated on and on and on, depending on which song is being selected. And I'm also using comparators and repeaters. Is probably a better way to do it with just command blocks, but for our purpose, it's going to make it easier to see what's going on. Okay, so first of all, we want to start with our ArmorStand, the same one we had over here on the jukebox. We're going to set up an ArmorStand with a custom name of DiscStand, and we are going to put the pose of the right arm above its head, basically. So when I summon it, there it is. It's ready to go, and that's going to hide there in our fake jukebox. So next thing we want to do is we want to have that ArmorStand spin around. How we do that is a teleport command, and we're going to teleport at E the name DiscStand, which is the name of that ArmorStand, and we're going to teleport in the same location, X, Y, and Z right here, the same location it's in, but we're going to teleport it at an 8-degree clockwise turn all the time. So when I turn on this this command block here, you can see it's spinning around. Now you can make it faster if you just add more numbers there, or you can even you can make it go counterclockwise if you want, if you make it a negative. So that's basically how it works. This command here is actually going to have to change in the 1.10 probably, because they're changing the way teleport works, but for 1.9 this will work fine. So the next thing we want to do is we do not want the ArmorStand to be able to accept any items except for a disc, because that would look kind of weird on the jukebox. So the way we do that is we issue this command, the disabled slots. It's an entity data command. We're going to disable all the slots, which means there's no way that you can give that ArmorStand anything. And as soon as I activate it, so it's always active now, we're not going to be able to give it, you can't give it anything. Not even a disc really at this point. Now it's very important that this command happens first. The way that these chain command block clocks work is whatever comes after will basically rewrite what we're doing, and that's how we make it check the disk. So after we've got this disabling all the slots here, we're going to test for, we're going to execute at the DiscStand, we're going to test for any player within 5 blocks to have this record ward in their selected hotbar slot. So selected item is whatever I have right here. So if I grab this disc here, it lights up because I have it in my hotbar, or actually selected. But if I take my hand away from it, then it's no longer there. It doesn't light up. If I put it back in, I'm also within 5 blocks and I'm ready to go. If that command block is true, so if I have a player within 5 blocks with that record, then this conditional command block here fires off, which means now it's going to rewrite that entity data disabled slots to a different number, which means it's not going to be able to accept the music disc. It actually can accept any item, but at this point, because it has to be in our hotbar or it has to be in our selected item slot, I can give it to them. And I can take that away anytime, but yeah, that's basically how it works. So it's the same thing over and over again. You can see here we've got record weight. Next one we've got record strad. We've got record stall, and you can see if I grab it, it won't light up because I'm more than 5 blocks away. It'll also light up on that one, but as soon as I get within 5 blocks with a disc, it'll light up just like that, and I can give it to them exactly like that over and over again. Pretty basic. Just got a lot of command blocks to deal with all these different song selections. Alright, so down at the other end here, you can see this whole chain command clock here goes all the way back again, and the last command here, same thing, record 11, if it's true, it's going to disable the slots, exactly the same, so that we can now play with that ArmorStand hand slot. But the next thing we want to do is we want to be able to track whether that ArmorStand has the disc in its possession. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to add a scoreboard objective. And the way we do that is we /scoreboard and then objectives and then add and then whatever name we want to do. In this case, we're calling it has disc, and we're going to call it a dummy objective, which means it's not tied to any stats in Minecraft. We can play around with it for our own purposes. I press enter and it says it already exists. I've already made it, but when you add it, it'll say you've just added an objective. And with that scoreboard, we can actually track whether that ArmorStand has a disc in its possession. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the player score of that has disc objective to 0. I'm always going to set it to 0, just like at the other end where the first command block sets that unless we change it. Same thing here. We're going to set the score of DiscStand to 0 of the has disc objective. So if nothing else happens, it's going to remain at 0. That's what we want to do. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to, this one right here, we're going to check if it has record 11 in its possession. So test for the DiscStand name to have record 11 in its hand items. If it does, then a couple of things are going to happen. So let me go play this here. I'll put it on, there we go. I should be far enough away not to hear it. But you can see the comparators lit up there. I'll go over that in a second. But the easy thing is, if it's true, then this conditional command block will go off. It'll set the score to 1, and because this score is after the one that's 0, it's always going to update to 1, and that's going to tell Minecraft that there is a disc in the possession of that ArmorStand. And then all these are the same going on. Back is where we play, or behind this one off the comparator is where we play the song. So first of all, we want to stop the sound. It's in the record slot, which is this right here, I believe. You can issue it to one of these, I believe, but that's a newer thing with play sounds. So we're going to stop any sound. So if any song is playing, if a song is playing and we switch songs, it's going to stop the sound first. Then it's going to go into this chain command block, and I'm going to execute at the DiscStand as location. I'm going to play sound record.11 at the record sound section in Minecraft at A. You can change this to master if you want as well. I put it as record just in case somebody didn't want to hear it, I guess. I believe that'll work. And then this is all, don't worry about this first one. The rest of them I've altered just slightly, but 11 has an interesting feature. So if I go over here, if you listen to the way 11 plays, you get that little crackle at the beginning. The very beginning. So I took advantage of that and I made them all play that song. So let's just put 13 in here. So if I put 13, you're going to see the same thing happens. The comparator here lights off like that. The other thing is this conditional command block sets the score to 1 again, always 1. And what happens is it stops the sound like before, and then it plays record 11, even though we don't have record 11. We have 13. It plays record 11 because you get that little crackle sound, and then there's some delay here until it stops the sound again, and a very small delay, and then it plays record 13. This is where it's actually playing all the songs. But just to make it a little more authentic, if I play, let's do a Strad. If I switch it, you'll hear that crackle. It's a bit of a pause, and then it plays the song. Kind of like a real record player, hopefully, if you remember those. And then the last thing, remember I said we're changing it to 1 on the has disc objective. If none of these songs are playing right now, what happens is this last command goes off. So it's going to test, it's going to execute at any score that is 0. It's going to stop the sound, which means we've just taken it out. We're gonna stop the sound, and it's going to play this leashknot place sound. I'm playing it in the master. That could probably go on the record, but anyway, what that is, if you listen very carefully, when I swipe the record off, I'm gonna swipe it. Hear that little zip? That I thought that kind of would sound like taking a record off of the player. And that's all that does there. So again, it's exactly the same thing. I hope that makes sense to you. We're testing for the record Strad. If it's in there, so here we go. If it's in there, record Strad, we're gonna light up. We're gonna immediately stop the sound first. We're going to play record 11, so you get that crackle, and then it's going to stop the sound again, so we're not playing the song 11, and then it's going to play record.strad in the record slot. So guys, I hope that was interesting for you. It's a cool song. I hope you enjoyed that. It was actually kind of fun to make, kind of fun to play Minecraft again. We'll see you again. I'm sure there's going to be maybe one more video. I've got the test map updated, so I'll show you that. But until next time, guys, enjoy your Minecrafting. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again.